Hello and welcome back to Titan Machine Tool. So I'm going to ask you a question. What happens when you have a 1966 Autocar 10-wheel dump truck loaded with 60,000 pounds of stone and you do a rollback on a hill and miss the shift and pop out the clutch? What happens? That's what happens right there. Yep, that is the front differential through shaft. It's supposed to be one piece though, obviously, right? So we're gonna try to repair this thing. I've already started. I'm kind of late to the game here with the video. I started fixing it already. And then the customer said, oh man, you should do a video for that. I said, you know what? You're right, maybe I should. So kind of a little late to the game, but anyways, the customer came to me with this shaft in 2 pieces. We're in 3 pieces now, 4 pieces actually, but we're in better condition. We're in a better condition. What is the condition of my condition? It's looking to get a little bit better, hopefully. Anyways, if this doesn't work, I'm going to be doing a video of making this entire shaft. But I think we're on the right track here anyway. So I'll show you what happened. The customer had a driver driving his truck. And that's what happens when you have people that don't know how to drive properly. Anyways, this shaft's like 1.530 in diameter. And I don't know exactly what it's made out of, but it's some sort of tough alloy, 4140 series, probably some sort of alloy steel, forged. I'm sure this thing is originally forged and then they machine it. So anyways, it's broken and we need to reconnect the front half of the splines to the back half of the splines and fill in the blanks in between. So I looked at it and thought about it for a little bit, and I started with the opposing end. We'll get to that in a minute, but I did it essentially in the same fashion. So I said, well, how are we going to put this thing back together? He wants to weld it. He wanted to just try to put this together and weld that thing back together. And he had rethought the idea, right? You know what Kenny Rogers says, right? You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And he realized that this was outside the scope of his welding capacity to be able to weld this back together. So here we were at. So I cut these stubs off. I cut the crappy ends off. I got a piece of 4140 HT that I'm going to fill the middle with. All right, so I needed to prep the ends. And this is what I did to prep these ends to put them back together. This end right here, there's a big old bearing that goes on over here. And this thing is kind of still really mashed up. I made suggestions to the customer. I can't make him do what he doesn't want to do. But I would get this welded. I would weld all of this. I'd get that all welded up real nice. And recut it all, because it's beat. The bearing, when this thing was, I don't know, the bearing may have been on its way out, but anyways, the bearing was a complete mess when this was taken apart, and it obviously did some damage to everything that it was attached to. You should have seen the housing. The housing was a mess too. Anyways, so what I did was I made some soft jaws right here, some nice soft jaws with 2 different diameters in them, and I grabbed on this diameter and this diameter at the same time in order to keep this thing as straight as possible. Now with this having all of those slots in it right there for the splines, there's not a lot of surface area to be grabbing on. So I had to get some fatter jaws, a little bit fatter than normal. These guys are like 1.25 inches wide. So they got a little more surface area when you cut the radius. And then being that I'm holding on this one too, so I held on both diameters. And then while it was in the lathe right there, I could put the indicator on this and check it for run out this way. Make sure that that's good, because the bearing loads on there, so you know that's a nice working surface. So I made sure everything was good. It was running nice and true. I faced the end. I drilled and tapped 3/4 16, and I put a nice, healthy weld prep on this half right here. So I essentially did the same thing on the other end. Well, come on down. Come on down! So here's the other end right here. All right, we got to reconnect these splines. Now, there's no timing on the splines, so they don't need to be in time lined up one end to the other, but they do need to be on the same center line and concentric. So this one had a good piece of material left to it. So we chopped off the crappy end right there where it was broken. Did the same thing as what we did to the other end. Held on the remaining diameter. Okay, you can see that's a turn diameter. You can see the tool marks on it, so you know that's all good. Held on that, trued it up, make sure it was running real nice. Faced, drilled and tapped, 3/4 16. Big, healthy weld prep. Big, healthy weld prep, okay? And then I took my piece of 4140 right here, 4140 HT, my fill-in piece. We still got to do this end, haven't done this end yet. We had that in the lathe. We turned that essentially to the same diameter as the other one. It's a couple thousandths bigger, actually. And we made a male thread. I single pointed, I turned, 3/4 inch diameter, single pointed a thread, which I'm going to do on this end over here. And I screwed them two together. Now you can't see it, but take my word for it. That's what's going on there. So I screwed the remainder of this right here to this fill-in piece. And this is longer than I need. I'll chop the extra off and modify the end to fit onto that other piece. So when I screwed these two halves together in the lathe, this guy was in the lathe right here, running nice and true. When I screwed that piece onto it by hand, it was within a, 4 or 5 thousandths. But then when I put the pipe wrench, I had the lathe in back gear. I put the pipe wrench on this thing and I really socked it up tight, really tight, really, really tight. And then I rechecked it, boom, it was running almost dead balls. Maybe like 3 thousandths TIR, total indicator reading, run out. Holding on this thing back here, somewhere back here, and then checking it right at the very end. 3 thousandths TIR. It's within 1.5 thousandths run out, screwed together. So, you know what happens when you weld, right? You start welding, it's going to pull and bend. God knows what it's going to do. The customer thought that the 3/4 inch thread would be more than enough to hold it. I said, I doubt it. I don't think so. So I made this cradle. I took a piece of channel, nice and rigid. It's not going to want to bend. I made these cradles out of aluminum. Center line is on the split. So it's essentially like a crankshaft main cap, right? Right to a couple thousandths at best clearance, almost line to line. They do turn when it's put together. I could crank them bolts down tight, 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 and it would turn. I could still rotate it in there. So I know that my diameter was good. And then I made 3 of them like that, all on the same line, screwed them down, put it in, locked it all tight in order to keep this shaft from bending and curling when it was welded. Now, I don't weld. The customer brought it to somebody to weld it. They welded it up, but they kept it in this fixture right here. I wasn't there when they did it, but they put it in the fixture and they welded it all up nicey nice. And I mean, this thing still rotates in there. The bolts are not tight right now, but if I take my word for it, if I tighten these things down all nice and tight, this thing still rotates. So I'm going to say this thing did not turn. This thing did not bend when it was welded, which was the concern. That was the concern right there. So we're going to do the same thing on this end. We're going to cut this thing the length that we need it, overall length. Plus we're going to leave some for a threaded post on the end. Then we're going to screw that baby on it like that. We'll have a nice big weld prep. And then we're going to rinse and repeat. But beforehand, I am going to make another cradle to hold this thing because this is different diameters. So I need a bigger bore to be able to hold on to that. We'll do the same thing. We'll screw that thing right down to it, right there in place, hold it all in place, weld it all together. Hopefully everything will be nice and straight when it's done. I'll report back maybe. You know what I'll do? If you see me doing a video on making a whole new piece, well, then you know this didn't work. But I'm pretty confident this is going to work. So this is for a 1966 Autocar 10-wheel dump truck, DK model maybe. And it is the front differential through shaft. Broken. So we're going to fix this up, hopefully. I think this is going to work. Customer's happy so far. So we'll finish this up. When I turn this up, when I get this back in the lathe, and I'm doing this end, I'll do a video for that and keep you posted. You'll be able to see how we go, if we have an epic failure or if it works. Anyways, that's the plan. All right, Titan machine tool. Thank you for watching. Signing off. Over and out.